Tim Drake, Robin, issue 6.
Yeah, it's the end of that arc. It's Rosmo on the whole issue this time, not on issue 5. He only did a parts of it, so it's all Rosmo all the time, and yeah, but it's mostly not even Rosmo that I hate the most about this. It's just I hate the whole book right now. I hate what it's doing with Tim, because I just don't like the way that Tim's kind of being written. But specifically to do with Rosmo, well, I don't know if I need to blame Rosmo or the letterer. But there's a page. It's only like 3 or 4 pages in. It'll probably be on the preview pages on Amazon. If anyone wanted to follow along with what I'm describing here.
We're getting a Connor art breakdown. I leave and come back. So
yeah, but this one it's Tim saying now where is the top half of the page split into 3 panels of him fighting. The problem is where the middle word is the one at the very top in the middle. And that's bolded. It gets progressively bolder as it goes on. But the first word now is a lot lower down, and it has an ellipsis after it to imply it carries on. Usually in comics, when they do that, where they're carrying on from one bubble to the next, the follow-up bubble will start with the ellipsis, or whatever device they're using to kind of show you that's the order that it reads in. This doesn't do that. So I read where as the first thing on this page. And I think most people would read that as the first thing on the page because it's bold, it's right at the top, it's smack in the middle of the page. And I was very confused. I was like, what? That made no sense. And then I went down, and then you see now, and you're like, they're backwards. I don't know if it's a problem of Rosmo's art focusing on the middle of the page, kind of bringing where that middle word has to be kind of to the forefront of the action, because it's the only one where Tim's facing forward as opposed to the other two. They're all mid-posing fights, but the other two, it's his back. So this is clearly the moment to pay attention to in the fight, and it's the biggest of where Tim is the biggest. He takes up the most page on that. So I don't know if it's Rosmo's fault for kind of making it like, oh no, this is kind of where it has to be, or if it's the letterer's fault for then not being more creative and kind of moving where the bubbles are. Like maybe they could have moved the ball down to the other side of Tim and a little bit lower, and it would have not been as neatly, centered, and the other two wouldn't be so perfectly, lined up left and right of it, respectively. It might ruin that effect, but I think it would have been an easier to read. But anyway, enough of that, like very specific nitpick that I just didn't, really bothered me. It's that this
Connor has a specific nitpick. I'm shocked.
I know, but this is the sort of thing that does annoy me, especially when it forces when comics don't make reading things in the natural order, obvious. It really hurts the flow of a story, even good stories. But when I'm already in a bad story and you're hurting the flow even more, it's just even more egregious. But yeah, it's just this Moriarty villain. He's found the way to, using alchemy and a little bit of Clayface mud, he can kind of create, like, almost shapeshift. And he just basically shapeshifts into Batman a lot. And it's like, hey, look, you're facing Batman now, and tries to kind of throw Tim off his game. Obviously, Tim doesn't really fall for it. They fight. He knocks him, into the harbor, and he kind of seemingly drowns and dies. He doesn't. Shockingly, that's kind of the little reveal after the fight's finished. Is someone fishes him out of the water. They find him. I'm not entirely sure if it's meant to be someone specifically looking for him, or if it just happens to be someone who finds him, because it doesn't really make that clear in the art or the writing. I mean, the writing's just doing separate narration over the top, like Tim's just narrating things about him. It'll be a while before we see him again. But the art is just showing where he is. And it doesn't make it very clear as to if it is someone seeking him out, going, "Oh yeah, okay, he's over there," or if it is just coincidence. Maybe that'll be addressed if he ever comes back. I don't know. There's a bomb, obviously, with Bernard. That was established before. Robin disarms it with 1 second to go, and all's swell. And yeah, that's it. He's like, all right, cool. Time for a new era of Tim Drake, where he's not going to be quite so mopey and not so fixated on being with Batman. It is kind of the vibe it gets from the way he kind of talks about things while he's fighting, not Batman. But yeah, it's just not a very good book, unfortunately, which is really disappointing. 'Cause I'd love a good Tim Drake book. He's the best Robin, and this is not it. This is just not it. And I'd like to think that with Rosmo leaving the book, it'll be more enjoyable, but I have absolutely no faith in the writing at this point either, because even that has been not entirely miserable, but mostly miserable over these 6 issues. So yeah, this issue, probably give it like a 4. Oh yeah, I'm really not enjoying this book.
That's a shame.